What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another amazing video. In this awesome course, we are going to be getting started here with our notifications feature. So what we need to start with is building out the user interface, and I have that up in the completed version of the application on the simulator now. So it's going to be pretty straightforward. The fun part here is going to be the data modeling. We obviously have different types of notifications. As we can see, we have likes and comments and there is a post associated with those, and then we have follow notifications here as well. So this is just going to be a pretty simple scrollable list of notifications, and we're going to start with the UI, then we're going to go into the data modeling, and then we're going to go how to send notifications from one user to another. So like I said, let's go ahead and get started with the UI. We're going to hop into our core folder and make a new group, and we're going to call this notifications, and let's go ahead and get this alphabetically sorted. QRSL right there, LMNOP, right. I have to act like a third grader when it comes to alphabetizing things. So now, guys, let's just go ahead and make a couple of folders here in our notifications guy. I think I'm going to make 4. And the first one is going to be for our model. The second is going to be for our views. Third is going to be for our view model. And lastly, we are going to use or create a service folder. So yeah, that looks pretty good. Now we're going to go to our view guy, and we are going to make 2 views. First off, we are going to have our notifications view. And then we are going to have a notification cell. So this should be pretty straightforward. This cell view is what each one of these guys are going to represent, and the notifications view is the overall sort of scrollable list. So let's just go ahead and get started with our notification cell, guys. So let me get our preview up and running. Okay, so we are going to start this off by creating an H stack here. And the first thing we're going to add, guys, is our circular profile image view. And we're not going to pass in a user just yet. We're just going to say extra small for the size. So that should come up, and that looks good. And next up, we need to create this like text that we see here. So this is a little, I don't want to say complex, but there is a lot going on. So we have the username, and that needs to be bolded. Then we have some notification message, and that's going to be unique based on the type of the notification, but we'll get into the data modeling later. And then we also have a timestamp. And then at the end, we are going to have some associated content, right? It could be a post or it could be a follow button. So let's go ahead and make this H stack here for our notification message. So let's say notification message right here. And we're going to say text, and it's going to just say Yuki for now while we add some mock data. And we're going to say .font is .subheadline, .font weight is .semibold. And then, guys, we are going to say text liked one of your posts, .font is .subheadline. And then we're going to say text, and we can just say like 3 weeks, and this is supposed to be our timestamp. Foreground style, .gray, .font is going to be .footnote. And that should look good. Let's wait for our preview to do its thing. Awesome. Okay, so here's something interesting about what is going to happen here, the way this is set up. Let's imagine, guys, that our notification message gets kind of long, right? Or what if the username was really long and it causes this notification message here, the liked one of your posts, guys, to go on to the next line, right? So we can just add some more text. Let's see, keep adding text, right? So this is what it's going to end up looking like, right? And this is as expected, but we don't want this. We want everything to sort of behave as if it's all one thing, right? But we still want that bolded text for the user's username. So what we're going to do is at the end of this text component, we're going to use a concatenator here to sort of combine this and treat it all as one piece of text. So you're just going to say plus, and then here you're also going to say plus. So what that plus does, and we can see here that that solves our problem. Let's see. Foreground style is only available in iOS 17. Okay, guys. So iOS 17 has come out during the filming of this course. Let me just go ahead and update our target or minimum deployment to iOS 17. So you guys can go to Instagram tutorial up here, whatever your project is called, and in the general tab under this targets guy right here, make sure you're not in the project, but you're in the target. We're going to go ahead to this drop down menu here where it says minimum deployments, and we can update to iOS 17. If you guys don't have the updated stuff yet, where it's Xcode 15 and iOS 17, you shouldn't run into that. But if you ever want to update, that's how you do that. The reason we are doing that is because of this new foreground style. So you guys will notice that foreground color, which is what we used to do, is getting deprecated. So we are supposed to start using foreground style with iOS 17 now. So you guys notice that fixes everything, and that looks good, right? The only thing we have to worry about now is our spacing. And we're going to go here and say space, and here and say space. Or you could add it after the username. It doesn't really matter. Okay, but this looks really good now, right? So we see that it all gets treated as one piece of text, and that is because we added in these plus signs, guys. So that concatenates these three components or combines them together and gives us that desired effect. So that's really cool. You technically don't even have to wrap that in an HStack. I just like to give it its own separate container, right? Like if you guys were not to have that in an HStack, I'm pretty sure it would all look the same. So yeah, you don't technically have to. I just did because if you ever want to apply some sort of custom styling to all three of these things, like a foreground color or like a text alignment, you can apply that to this sort of separate container. I like to compartmentalize things more, and that's why I have that inside of a stack. But anyway, let's go ahead and add a spacer now. And then, guys, we are going to add like this post guy right here. So we're going to create an image. And let's say it's, I don't know, Max Verstappen. Or do I have that? No. Let's see. Yeah, my bad. Let me make this like Black Panther -1. Then we're going to say .resizable, .scale to fill. And then we're going to say .frame. Width and height of 40 by 40, and clip. Let's clip that. Cool. And then, guys, all we need to do is add some padding to this guy. So here we could say like .padding .horizontal, and that doesn't look too bad. So we might want to adjust the spacing here a little bit because that is kind of hugging that tightly. So what we could do is add some trailing padding to either this text component or some leading padding to this guy. So what I mean by that is you could say .padding, .leading, and maybe give it like, I don't know, just like 2 pixels or something. And that will just give you a little bit more space. That is up to you guys, though. If you don't mind that spacing, then it's all good. So, yeah, looking good. Let me delete all this stuff just to see how that looks, and that looks great. Okay, so that's our notification cell, guys. Obviously, there is a little bit more we need to do, but that's going to come when we do our data modeling and stuff. Like, for example, sometimes you're going to want this to be a follow button, and we need a certain notification type, and we need a user associated this with and a potential post, but that's all going to come with the data modeling. So now let's go to our notifications view and see how we're going to build this. So this is going to be inside of a navigation stack, guys, and we're going to create a scroll view and a lazy V stack. And we are just going to say for each. And let's just say, I don't know, 0 up to like 15. Notification in. And let's just go ahead and drop in our notification cell. Let me just highlight this, and I'm going to hit Control-I to make sure everything is indented properly. Oops. Guys, I did notice that if you do the up to but less than, you don't have to add the ID \self. But for some reason, if you do all the way up to, then you do need to do that, which is kind of weird. I'm sure there's a good reason for it, but oh well. All right, so there we go. That's not looking too bad. We just need to adjust our spacing, guys. So on this lazy V stack, just go and say spacing, and we want 20 pixels of spacing. Right, and that looks pretty dope. So in Instagram, you guys will notice that they don't have the divider lines. So we're not going to add that here. And I think this looks great for now. It looks like we do have a little bit more space in the main one, but we could always come back to that and add some more spacing if we want. So for example, we could maybe say 24 pixels of spacing. And now guys, let's just go ahead and add like our navigation title and stuff. We're going to say .navigation title is notifications. .navigation bar title display mode is .inline. And we should be able to see that that looks pretty good right there, right? I do think I want to give that some padding on the top. Yes, so let's do that. So let's say on our notification cell, we're going to say .padding .top. Yes, this looks way better. And let's maybe change that back to 20. Okay, that looks awesome. So that is going to wrap it up for our initial user interface stuff, guys. In the next one, we're going to get into our data modeling and then add some more logic to our UI to either show like certain components based on the type of notification that we're getting. And then we're going to get into the implementation with our backend and all of that stuff. So we'll see you there. Peace.